Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to March 16th. This is the THG game. This is Until the Cherry Blossoms Fall. So now we are in turn 100 here. And it was actually pretty interesting. Like, I was a little bit disappointed because it was a little bit of a quieter turn resolution, but sometimes you can't always get what you want. But that's fine. What I've been doing here, then, is I've been shifting air power around. I'm going to have the actual carrier grid move down here to Mexar. The reason is I do wonder... this is going to rely upon really, like, having whereabouts where his carriers are, essentially. But if his carriers do turn out to be actually on this side of Australia, so let's say, so we saw them head down this way, they may still be around here, but if they're indeed on this side of Australia in the time to come, what we might potentially do then is use the MKB, and possibly move undetected towards Perth if we can manage it. That would be quite nice, but very likelihood would be to head up into the Indian Ocean. But what we'd like to be able to do then is be able to secure Cocos Island, Christmas Island, IO, Diego Garcia, and potentially make a move upon Colombo. That could be interesting. Potentially port strike there. Possibly something to that effect, really. We need to look for targets of opportunity. There's a lot of shipping over to Rangoon, but we need to find where the weaknesses are. He's not going to have a lot of air power everywhere, so we need to figure out where that weakness is. But what I've done here then so far is I've shifted around some key 43, so I've moved a group from over here to Mexar towards Benjamarson, and then I moved a group from Benjamarson over here to Palembang. So we now have about 80-odd key 43s. What I'm going to do then is actually have one group pretty much dedicated to running escort missions, which I need to actually set up here. There we go, almost forgot about that. There we go. The other group here, the 1st Sentai, are going to be running cap here over Palembang. Now, we are moving our forces out. We should actually have the SLF units move across the river over here next turn. And then we're going to begin to spread out then. Well, we already are spreading out now. Maybe 2 days, actually, before they do make it across the river there. Yeah, it's about 2 days or so. So 2 days we'll have this base over here. Another 2 days we'll have Lahat. 2, 4. So 4 days then from Lahat to arrive here at Benkelin. A similar sort of time frame towards Oosthaven, whatever you call it. A regiment is marching out towards Djambi, so they're making good progress. Obviously, they do not have to worry about a river crossing, so they can march over here as quickly as possible, really. There was an enemy unit on its way down there, as far as we could tell. So what we're going to do then is go ahead and try and chase it down, but Djambi is going to be fairly easy to take, to be honest. But that will be the quick end of Sumatra. What we're doing over here now, then, is I'm frankly waiting for this fatigue to diminish a little bit more before we do attack. We might call it one more day. So we'll call it another day's rest today, and then tomorrow probably would go ahead and attack. We are up in the amount of bombers that are actually hitting Singapore, which is quite nice. So I'm quite happy about that. It is a difficult target, really. It is a difficult target to take out, really. Just due to the fact that, well, there's a lot of flak there. And that's pretty hard to deal with. But we'll manage it. We will manage it. We're going to have more salaries over here available in the short future. We're running bombers over here as well. Yeah, moving more aviation support to this base over here to make sure they're better looked after. But we do have more escorts available for Singapore as well, so we should be okay. I may go ahead and actually move additional ones out there, but we should be alright for the time being. Things are going well enough. I could do with actually securing another naval guard to go ahead and reinforce Kuching. We're not too far away from that. What are their numbers there? That fatigues up, so they're going to need some rest or reinforcement. Though in fairness, let's see. I'll give it a little while. I mean, 21 fatigue's not too bad. They're probably not going to recover much more than that. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow, though. We can go ahead and order a attack then if necessary. We are preparing our forces over here. So I do have the DMSs over here. What we're going to do then is I'm getting very much ready for the attack over here. I've ordered reconnaissance over here at Semarang and over these bases here in this area. I think even with a division, it's not ideal, but I think even a division would be better than nothing to get ahead, just to get a start at Java, really. Frankly, our time is passing on by. We've got to get landings done. We've got to get the difficult landings done, really. There's not many difficult landings, really, that we have to do after that. Not tremendous amounts of them. As far as we go in the Pacific, we might have reached our sort of natural expansion limit. Maybe we'll go for objectives in the future, but obviously those objectives would require a lot of planning to make sure we didn't have tremendous losses. But even then, what objectives are there really for us to take? The 9 islands would be nice. The Aleutians we're going to be working upon shortly. What we're going to do now is figure out where his strength is and how to counter that. If he moves into the Coral Sea, then we can manage that. I can use the land bases over here to spar with him. Sorry about that, got something just... I don't know, something's on my throat sometimes. Feels like that. I'm sure you guys know about that. Can relate. I'm not going to order an attack here today. I'm going to give it another day's rest. Well, it's not even the rest, really. It's just waiting for the supply. I don't want to order an attack until we actually have the supply required. There is going to be more supply over here to Buna, but there's going to be more troops over here to Buna. So I'm going to wait until that supply is in place before we do attack. But what I'm doing in the meantime, I'm not going to be like static. What I'm doing here is sending the fast transport over here to take that base. I'm going to have another fast transport mission sent to secure this dot base, and then I'll use the troops over here to take all these bases as well. I'll have them loaded up and have them secure all the bases in the area, which should be quite good. All the little dot bases, etc. Just around there will secure. This is going to be another bombardment mission, which is going to go in and bombard Port Moresby. So about 2 days, I imagine 2 days before we attack Moresby. So tomorrow, next turn, and the turn after that, then we will order an attack at Moresby. We'll be able to line that up with a bombardment then. We should ideally have all the bases secured around here. So if they are defeated, they should then surrender, which would be very nice. And the good news is about that, once that is done, what we can do then is actually organise the actual sea lift, or the other movement of the 56th Division, and get things moving ASAP, really. So I do want to have that division in the Dutch East Indies. I want to have that division available elsewhere, frankly. I'm moving the fuel. We're in a very difficult position when it comes to fuel and that. So what I'm going to do then is, instead of having this moved into Delag, I'm going to have it sent down here to Luganville, where we do have a greater need for fuel. I can actually look after it better at Tulagi than I can elsewhere. Sorry, at Luganville than I can elsewhere. We actually do have sufficient force over here to do something quite nice. And make sure, I think there's... oh, that's right, still elements of the 4th there. Okay. That's fine. Right, that sub has been refueled there. Okay. I'll alter its course then afterwards. Well, in fact, there's a lot of the submarines that really do need just to come home to have some repairs done, frankly. I'm going to have a patrol around here to the south, in all honesty. Have a patrol start just beyond Norfolk Island to a degree. Oh, so this is just a rough one here. We'll work on that one and decide really where it wants to go there afterwards. So let's get these guys loaded up then. Right, so carry the 4th. Right, there we go. Just load the troops only. There we go. So we'll get them carried over there. What I'm going to do then is actually move engineers elsewhere then, when we finish this base. So we're up to... oh yeah, we should in theory be done next turn then. And that's going to be awesome. That means that we've turned event, whatever, from like a size 0 to like a size 4 within a few turns, which is very nice. So what we'll do then is begin to build up these bases in this area. I may even go ahead and potentially build up the bases on New Caledonia if we can, but we need to focus on the bases where we can launch potential torpedoes from. But building up these bases would not be a bad idea. Comac is quite nice. It's quite attractive, really. Due to its difficulty of being, well, access, really. Because it forces the enemy to come in either down this way, through this way, but it forces them to head to Comac in one direction, which is nice. Comac being at times 2, Nouméa's nice because it's times 3, can withstand things a little bit better. There's also not a direct path to Nouméa, they do have to go somewhat around. So even like the Isle of Pines over here is quite intriguing in all honesty, because I could actually disband like an ACM in the Isle of Pines and just lay some mines there. And then at least it would actually give us a potential way to screen Nouméa. I'm very much... I imagine if he was to come in here, he probably would go ahead and bombard to a degree. So what we need to do then is focus on the bases towards the rear, and then focus on the bases towards the front. And the reason being, we don't want to give him the ability to come in here and bombard and try and knock out aircraft. That's going to be the thing there. So that's looking pretty good. This area down here, I'm kind of expecting that there could be some sort of clash in the future. We shall see about that. I think what I may go ahead and actually do then, I'm moving aviation support. I'm going to have engineers move to Buna as well. I'm going to have aviation shifted around this area. But I think what I'm going to do then is, once the combined fleet arrives at Truck, I'm going to take their zeros and have them potentially, I think, move them down to this area here. Have them move down to this area, kept probably a Rabal away from enemy prying eyes, and have them rest and recuperate until ready. And you can potentially have zeros move to the front lines, but I think what we want to do then is figure out where we want to have them. But keep them rested and just have them training or something like that, but just have them as like a ready reserve of fighters. But we are going to move air squadrons around pretty shortly, to be honest. I mean, like B-51Ks, they're not tremendously long range, such as the G4s or G3s, but we can definitely make use of them. We do have zeros over here that coming online as well. We do have a lot of aircraft that we can make use of, and that's going to be the thing here, finding the ways to make use of them. Oh, I've set up an ASW train over here, so they're going to go down the river. There's 3 SW groups, and then finally the amphibious force is going to follow on through. So what I'm hoping to do here is slam those submarines in the actual river estuary there. I'm going to have the actual Minikabadai follow the ASW task forces. They're going to head coastal as well. The reason is I want to try and avoid that submarine over there. I do have ASW being flown from the D3A1s, so that's fine. I mean, what I might do is potentially have the carriers move off elsewhere, but I do want to hold on to the ability to potentially go out into the Indian Ocean, because if he does show his face over here, then we do launch at the same time like a carrier strike or a carrier, you know what I mean, like whoa, look at us, look at this big thing over here. Then really, I mean, this is it. You imagine they're launching an offensive over here, then we suddenly launch a counter-offensive over this way, we head down to Perth and we strike at Perth. Whatever he can do over here is not going to be as impactful as what we could potentially do at Perth or potentially out in the Indian Ocean. We could effectively run somewhat rampant in the Indian Ocean, as we'll be securing bases over here in Sumatra. We will be moving upon Java shortly enough, but we need to go ahead and be quite aggressive. I do want to focus on the Indian Ocean to a degree. I'm not going to do it with all the carrier forces because it's not necessary, but it can be done with the carrier forces we have deployed to the Dutch East Indies. Ideally, we don't have any submarine incidents, but we'll see about that. But things are moving along quite nicely, trundling along really. I've gone ahead and done a few logistical things. I've reduced the range of float planes for the most part. Pretty much the entire float plane inventory that we have in the air, on land and at sea has been reduced down to 8 hex range. Well, to their normal range really, to try and prevent more ops losses over time. Try and really hold on to what we've got. I'm waiting for the actual TIE forces to assemble over here, and then what we will do then is march across here. It looks to be only 2 units, I could quite easily deal with that. Pegu, I really want to have an eye on there. So what I'm going to do then is, I don't know where that base is, but I don't much care for it right now. I want to know what's going on at Pegu. I want to know what we can do then at Pegu. I imagine he's got a decent amount of force. We can see there's 13 units over here. As to how much actual AV he has is unknown. I think there were units over here at Pegu, but we need to take a look at this. But securing that hex there is absolutely vital. It does really go ahead and remove the possibility of him threatening us over here in Thailand, because then he has to cross the river. Well, right now he can just cross the river, so it means that these forces cannot be on rest mode. They have to be on combat mode just in case he crosses the river. So if we take this hex over here, which is a ×2, it gives us that little bit of an extra buffer, but it ultimately secures access across into Burma, which is very important for us. So we're going to do that. I do have additional aviation forces moving up into Thailand. We do have forces moving around the Empire. I'm moving a good number, actually. I'm moving forces to go ahead and sort out the garrison issues over here at Zamboanga, which is good. I've ordered another deliberate attack over here with the 32nd, 110th, and the 6th Division. A headquarters will arrive in about 2 days or so. It depends, really. What's the road over here? Oh, it's Major Road. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, so this headquarters will arrive tomorrow in combat mode then. We should help out. I do have the 35th as well that's moving. The good news is it's Major Road, so move very quickly. But the good news is we're having 2 headquarters over here, 2 core headquarters. It does actually help out their performance considerably. But the important thing is they actually do have that support, so they'll be able to recover fatigue and disruption pretty quickly then. Now, what we're doing here then is, if I take a look actually, so I meant to take a look there. You see our disruption and fatigue, 6594301. That's pretty damn low. That is pretty damn low. So what we're going to try to do here then is exhaust his supplies before any sort of reinforcement may potentially arrive. If we can drive him back to that, that's better than having 2 hexes of wooded rough. Even if there's units here, we can still deal with them. We just need to bring an overwhelming amount of force and keep on pushing. Keep putting that pressure on him, really. I can see that we do have units of decent... I mean, the 6th Division's got 8 experience, 62, 62, but morale's pretty damn good. I mean, that's still not bad experience at all, really. The 80 is obviously more of what we'd like. But that seems to be one of the more experienced divisions out here. which is understandable, really. We do have our forces heading towards the north over here. We're going to begin to build up forces to move down here. We do have our forces over here as well. We did push them back across the river. What I'm going to do here, then, is go ahead and take a couple of these mixed brigades and actually have them march north into the same hex as he is. The reason being, it forces him to have to keep a garrison there, and it also does put pressure on him then, because we actually are in that hex. So that's fine by me. And what I'll do then is, so 210, I'm going to take the stronger units. I know yeah, so they're going to go there. One unit can move there. Then I guess I'll have these guys. I might as well move them up as well. If I'm consistently worrying about that, then he's winning that little battle there. What I can do then is actually have the headquarters remain in position here, as it's going to be able to cover both, and that works. So there we go, we're going to have them move up there. So that's about 672 AV. That's actually not inconsiderable. And when that's moved into the times-free terrain, he's not going to be able to push that out easily. It is going to bleed him quite nicely, really. But what we might be able to do then is potentially start bombarding with these forces over here. And it doesn't use much, it doesn't do much in the way of damage, but if it forces him to use the counter-battery fire, and forces him to potentially use supply himself, that's actually not too bad. But ultimately, what we're going to do then is tie up as many forces as we can, and then really open up these other roads over here. Getting ready for the Paramashiro-jima offensive into the illusions. Just, I do have some cruisers and etc. moving into Japan. I think I might potentially wait until they've been repaired, or potentially until I can actually sort out a proper warship escort, perhaps. I even considered, let's see, what do we have available in the near future? Okay, so the next carrier is 21 days, then 66 days, okay. Right. Yes, they've been accelerated. Well, no. No. It's a long time to wait, but it is a potential consideration for us, if we so wish we could have that support there. But I don't think it's necessary. I think, frankly, what I'm going to do then is wait until I can get some sort of float plane, escort, like a heavy cruiser would be nice, frankly, just to make sure we have our proper oomph. I mean, Congo's 20 days out, apparently. It might be that we may wait for Congo, which would mean if we waited for Congo, we'd actually have access to a carrier near enough that sort of time as well. So we'll see. I don't think a fast battleship is required. I think a couple heavy cruisers would be nice, and I think I might potentially take some cruisers from Truck that will arrive with the combined fleet. We'll see. Okay, so just getting things really moving at this moment in time. I do need to start getting fuel back. Well, oil really back to Japan. Oil would be preferable back to Japan. But we'll be able to do that shortly. I mean, in fairness, I could potentially start operations now. I need to go ahead and start capturing these islands. So what I'm going to do then is actually organise next turn, then forces to go and capture these islands over here. And then what we'll do then is we'll have our fuel or oil begin to move along here, and then over into here. So we need to start getting it back to Japan ASAP, really. There we go. So, yeah, things are looking pretty decent, really. It's going to be interesting. We'll see what he has for his next... I will be quite happy if we sink some of these actual assets out here, so that'd be kind of cool. But we'll go ahead and we'll call it there. So thank you for watching there, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do consider subscribing down below. Hit that button, that would be much appreciated. There's a lot of people who do watch and comment who do not subscribe, and I'm like, come on guys, help me out, help the channel grow. But of course, until next time, Teno Heka Banzai. Goodbye for now.